Blackstone Audio presents The Assassination of the Archduke, Sarajevo 1914, and the Romance That Changed the World, by Greg King and Sue Woolmans. In memory of Charlene Adlin, Greg. To the memory of my dear parents, Daphne and Ian Mailleux, Sue. Forward, by Sophie von Hohenberg. I vividly remember the first email I received from Sue Woolmans and Greg King. I sat back and thought, should I answer? Then I remembered an old story. I believe it was at my sister's wedding. I was standing on the terrace with my grandmother, and we were watching Aunt Sophie, daughter of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary, and Sophie, Duchess of Hohenberg, who was patiently answering the questions of the journalists. I commented to my grandmother, "How can she stand it?" My grandmother answered that she herself had once years ago asked her sister-in-law why she bothered answering all those questions. "The journalists don't listen and write what they want anyway, so why bother?" Aunt Sophie had an amazing answer. As if it were the most normal thing in the world, she said, "But I must defend him." Him being her father. Since then I have read many books about my great-grandfather, and few have done him justice. Sue and Greg's book was different. It was to be a book about my great-grandparents, their private life, and the repercussion of Sarajevo on the Hohenberg children. The destiny of my grandfather and his siblings is remarkable. They led lives strewn with tragedy and hardship, but they strode through it, their heads held high, with courage, resilience, and faith. They were happy, good-humored, joyful people, and I admire their stance after all. They were the first orphans of the First World War, and the first victims of the young Czechoslovakian Republic, chased from their home and their country. Their possessions were illegally confiscated without any compensation. The Hohenberg brothers were the first Austrian aristocrats in Dachau concentration camp. They struggled against prejudice, discrimination, and injustice. Their home, Unabridged, was seized almost 100 years ago, just after the First World War. This larceny was perpetrated by a state before any legal basis existed, right under the nose of the Allies, who did not budge, even when Prince Jaroslav II Hohenstein, the children's legal guardian, tried to protest and started a legal battle. My grandfather, Max Hohenberg, continued, and I have tried to follow suit after the Iron Curtain fell, picking up where my grandfather had left the battle for our heirloom and for justice.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?